What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL rundown. That's right. Just like a NASCAR driver, Tyler, I'm switching gears. We just knocked out the NBA show, and while we were doing that, you were getting ready for the props. So AP and I took care of the NBA to make sure you'd be able to come with the heat and the fire. Because I'll be honest, Tyler, this show's been great for me. You've been giving out winners left and right, hitting at a fantastic rate. So I cannot wait to see what we can find today. How are you doing, and what did you think of the NFL game last night where the Browns were able to get the win over the Denver Broncos?
I mean, that was an ugly football game. The Browns' offensive line won the line of scrimmage pretty much every play. It seemed like they were just pushing Denver around.
Yeah.
I mean, Teddy Bridgewater just looked like a shell of himself from the first three games. So, I mean, can't take much from the game with all the guys out. We got our prop home on Tuesday. We talked about for that preview with the Javonte Williams reception.
Yeah.
We got his anytime touchdown.
And we were sweating that one too. We didn't get till the end. Yeah.
Well, no, that was the anytime touchdown. We didn't get till the end.
Right. The anytime touchdown we didn't get till the end.
The receptions we talked about on the Tuesday show, we grabbed in the first half. So
right.
That was an easy one, but we'll see what we can find for Sunday.
All right. Let's start. Let's start with one of the most exciting games. The Chiefs are heading to see the Tennessee Titans. I don't know. Depending on what book you're at, the Chiefs are, I think they're -4 when I checked right now. -4.5. Opened at 6. Titans taking money. I agree with the move. We grabbed it at 6 on our Monday show. We thought that it was going to be tough for the Chiefs, or Tuesday show, to stop the run. What are we looking at as far as props for this show, Tyler? I mean, for this game, excuse me.
Hey, looking at this one, I think, was Derrick Henry practicing again? Because I know he wasn't practicing at first.
He didn't practice yesterday, and everyone got worried, but the line didn't really move that much. So my guess, I'm capping this game as easy in there still until,
I mean, him being that little banged up worries me. His rushing prop was $128 to start. Now it's at 117.5. So that's fallen almost 10 yards. I don't hate taking the McNichols, the backup running back, to score a touchdown at like +700. Because you think if he is banged up, there is a chance that McNichols gets more carries. But I mean, looking at this one, give me A.J. Brown over 60.5 receiving yards. I think he torches this team in the secondary, and I think Kansas City puts up points, so they have to keep up.
All right. So you like A.J. Brown over, what'd you have, 61.5?
60.5.
60.5. Yeah, I mean, with or without Julio, I like this. It's almost one of those things where you think, oh, well, if Julio's out, it helps A.J. Brown with the extra targets. But I also think it's fine if he's in because Julio will take a little more attention and he's more likely to get open. Did you have any that you wanted to make official on the Kansas City side? And overall, like, what are your projections for this offense? I mean, highest scoring, or highest total of the day, and I think the year 57.5. We could have had a higher one though earlier. Maybe Seahawks Titans or Cowboys game was higher, but still 57.5. Right on that top tier totals. What are you looking at on the KC side, or are you like staying away from those guys?
I mean, looking at that side, I think it's one of them Tyreek Hill games where you could just explode for like $150. You figure they lost Caleb Farley last week to a torn ACL. Their corners were already pretty bad. I see his receiving yards are set at 85.5. I'd probably hit the over there. Because, I mean, he catches a couple balls in space. He breaks one for like 60 yards. You're in the money right there. So, if I had to target a guy on that side, it'd be Tyreek Hill.
All right, Tyreek Hill on that side. And I think a lot of people will there, so that's not a huge secret that we're giving out. But sometimes the simplest is the best. The Washington football team's heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers. That line opened at 9.5, dropped down all the way to 7.5, back to +8. What do you think about for this game here? And, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Antonio Gibson, there's some big names, but how do they put these numbers? Where's the value?
I mean, looking at this game, I think this is a look-ahead spot for Green Bay. I think they're going to come in flat here with Arizona on deck on Thursday night. I mean, I don't think they'll also run Aaron Jones a lot, so I think A.J. Dillon over 41.5 rushing yards is a good look. I also don't hate Antonio Gibson over 48.5 rushing yards because I think they stay.
He's only 48?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool. I like that one the best out of anyone we mentioned so far. All right, like I said, my computer's kind of freezing up here and there, so I'm trying to get these in the chat. But
Oh, you're
That's
good.
not one. It's not some. Apologies to everyone watching. I don't know if I'm able to get everyone in the chat, but so you like AJ Dillon and Antonio Gibson both over, and both of them are in the 40s.
Yep. Antonio Gibson is 48.5 and Dylan's 41.5.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I
48
think
and a
this could be
half.
like a big Devontae Adams spot because they can't cover anything on this side
Uh-huh.
of Washington. Like their front six is getting pressure, but they just can't cover anything in the secondary. I don't see a line for it yet, but Devontae Adams to score 2 touchdowns, I think is worth a shot here. He only has 2 touchdowns on the year. You got to think Rodgers wants to get him more involved. I think this is the spot where he catches 2 to 3.
I realize why that Gibson number's so low.
Is he still
He's
hurt?
questionable with the stretch factor in his
Yeah, there
shin.
it is.
He didn't play last week, or no. He didn't play a lot. He was only 10 of 44. So usually he gets between like 18 to 22 targets. So he definitely dropped there. Um, Never mind. I think that Gibson one is right then.
Yeah, because
I
then
mean,
if he
I could still go with you there
couple
over, but
runs
now I
in,
understand why
he
it's
could
so low.
stress that out, and then he's out of the game. So
Yeah, I actually
probably
almost
lean
like the
Dylan
Dylan
more.
one a little more. All right, so Dylan is over 41.1 yards, right?
Yep, 41.5.
Yeah, that makes sense now. That at first when you said that, I said that's way off. That was pretty surprising. So okay, so we like the running back there. Any receivers like obviously, well, you Devontae Adams, you like the 2 touchdowns. On the other side, no Alexander back there for the Packers. Does that mean McLaurin is in a nice spot, or did they place the numbers high enough to where you don't really want to get involved?
I think he's in a good spot, but he's also banged up. So it's like one of them things dealing with a hamstring injury. He runs a
Hmm.
lot of deep routes. I'd be worried that he tweaks that hamstring on the first couple routes of the game and then he's out. So it's a wait and see approach with him. I got to get a
Yeah.
healthy game out of him first.
Yeah, I guess you're right. He only has 8 of 74 out of the last 2 weeks, so he's definitely not 100%. And yeah, uncertainty, soft tissue injury makes sense that we'd stay away. Boy, tough season for Washington, right? I mean, I mean, maybe the only good of it is they can finally get rid of that terrible owner that they have, but not very good on the football field. The Cincinnati Bengals head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. If you guys have been watching, you know that I think the Baltimore is going to win by margin here. Tyler, are we going to have props that correlate with that, or are you thinking that this Cincinnati's going to hang tough and fight them well?
I think they hang in this game, but I think Baltimore wins it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they blow them out like how they did when Burrow first visited Baltimore. They beat them 27-3.
Right.
In reality, the game should have been 27-0 because Bullock kicked the field goal in the last 20 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
So I think they do the same thing they did to Herbert last week. They're going to blitz the hell out of Burrow with this bad offensive line. Give me Baltimore to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
With it staying close, Lamar Jackson's rushing prop has come way down from where we've seen it start the year. It's at 60.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the over there. He's averaging 10 carries and 79 yards versus this team. The game he played, they beat him 27-0. He only had 2 attempts for 3 yards because they were up 14-0 off 2 passing touchdowns. And
Right.
then they pick sixed them. So you're sitting perfect. You're up 21-0. I don't see them getting that lead here. I think he has to use his legs. So yeah, give me that over 60.5. And they set Burrows at 9.5. I like the over there too because I think he'll be running around trying to get out of the pocket, and he'll probably skimper for a couple yards here and there. So I think he gets up over that 9.5.
I like that too. Joe Burrow's fourth in the league in yards per attempt at 8.9.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just.
I seen an article that said somebody was calling him like the modern day Joe Montana.
No.
That's what I said. I was like,
Stop,
yeah, a little far too.
Stop. Yeah. He's good though. He's good though. A very very good player, and obviously we didn't necessarily underestimate him. We did underestimate his ability to bounce back so quickly. We thought this was kind of going to be a transition season coming back from that injury,
I'll
but
admit it, I underestimated him.
yeah.
I didn't think
Well,
he was going to be that good.
I just thought he was going to be still hurt.
I thought.
Remember how shaky he looked during? They really bluffed us during preseason, man.
Yeah.
That's rude. If I ever meet them, I'm not going to do any tough guy stuff, but I'm going to let them know I'm a little disappointed there that they bluffed us out in preseason and caused us to lose some money underestimating that team. So, what about Joe Mixon and those guys?
I mean, I don't hate them, but I don't want to touch the receivers. Baltimore has been bad against receivers, but with them blitzing Burrow, I'm not sure how much he's going to get the ball out.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, it's like the only guy I'd probably target is Marquis Brown because Bateman's still pretty new to the system. Watkins is still pretty banged up. And they also lost Latavius Murray this week, too. So Freeman should be getting all the carries out of the backfield. But as for wide receivers, I mean, I'm trying to pull up the Marquis Brown prop now. 58.5 receiving yards.
I don't want to take his props. I don't want to take him over or under.
Yeah, that's the only thing about him.
The guy's just a walking roulette machine.
Is if he gets over that number, he probably blows that number out of the water. Mm-hmm. But if he goes under it, I bet you he goes for like 1 in 13.
Well, yeah, because you never know. He's either going to make a spectacular catch or drop like the easiest pass. So, I don't know. I don't want to get involved. We're probably just bitter off that one game where he had the 3 really bad drops in prime time. But regardless, you give out so many winners on here. I don't want to just take a roulette or craps type of gamble. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers heading to the New York Giants. We had some fun discussion. Did you hear that? Us talking about it last night on the live show.
Yeah.
Jay really likes the Giants here.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet it. The way he built up the talk before he had said that he liked the Giants.
Yeah,
he's building up I think the point should be this way. I thought he was going to say he liked the Carolina side. And then he's like, no, I like the Giants side. I was like, oh, we threw me through a loop there.
I mean, to be fair, if you're a Jets fan, right, you're not going to be eager to bet Sam Darnold, right? I mean, that's just too many years of just watching bad football. But now Sam Darnold's in a new system. He's heading back to New York. Won't be playing his former team, though, but will be in his old haunts. Hopefully he doesn't catch mono. The Panthers are at 3 or 2.5, depending on what book you're at, and I'm sure if you want either of those numbers, there will be an ability for you to get them before kickoff on Sunday. This total's only 43, right? So it makes it hard to do some overs. Do we look for some unders here, or can you find some sneaky overs for us on this Panthers versus Giants game?
I got an over, but I don't know if it's sneaky.
Okay.
Sam Darnold over a half an interception minus 120.
That's not sneaky. That's just smart.
We needed one play last week. The Cash just probably threw it on the first play of the game.
All right.
If the Giants team can get any pressure on him, we know he'll rattle. I think he throws a pick this week.
Hey, and we're not out here, trying to prove that we're the smartest, giving out the most obscure things, right? We're not like, the indie guys that like a band and until everyone hears about them and then they hate them, right? We'll take an easy one, right? We don't always need to find obscure players. So I'm with you. That's taken over Gibson as if you can only bet one, bet this.
Yeah.
Right. If you only have one unit left in your account, I think that's my favorite one that you've given out so far. But so no skill players interest you here, right? DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Sterling Shepard, John Ross. What do we got?
The only one that would be DJ Moore's receptions at 6.5. I think
he's been over that. He's the number one target by far, right?
And then one other one that sticks out to me, I just seen it. Daniel Jones' longest rush, 10.5. We know the dude's good. If he sees one little opening, he's going to run.
Yeah.
If they leave him open one good time, he's going to run for 15 yards.
So, but that's the longest rush, though, right? What's his rushing total? 29?
Yeah, it's 29. Let me see. Actually, it's all the way down to 19.5.
I don't like that better. I like that better, actually.
Yeah, I don't mind that with that.
How many attempts do you think he'll get?
Probably 8.
Yeah,
especially with Brian Burns and them guys chasing them out of the pocket. Yeah, give me the over on that 19.5.
Yeah, I'm switching it. So we'll take it away. We will, I mean, if you want to play, you're watching, you want to play both, but because we do put a lot of bets down there, I think I like just the over 19.5 total better. So, but obviously they're correlated, right? I think I think very rare situation.
Yards, I mean,
where you went 1-1, where you go 1-1 on that. All right, so we like targeting the quarterbacks in there, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. A game. This one's, I don't know if it's tougher to cap or tougher to watch, Tyler. The Atlanta Falcons and the Miami Dolphins. I think the Falcons are minus 2.5, and they're in Miami. Shows you how bad this team has fallen off. I'm not sure if Howard and Jones are playing. I guess they came back to practice and they were limited.
Yeah, I'm not sure 100% either yet.
That makes it really hard to try and do this, right?
It does, but I mean, there's one guy that they weren't going to cover in the first place that I think dominates.
Oh, I love it. Let's hear it.
Outfits. These Miami linebackers can't cover. He had a decent game in London 2 weeks ago.
Honestly, no one could cover him. If he had a quarterback that wasn't like more washed than me, I think that he would have so many
He's
yards
looked
so
good in the
far.
last 3 weeks though, spread. I didn't
Who,
think so either.
Ryan or Pitts?
Matt Ryan.
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't
because
think
he's
so
going
either.
against
And then you
terrible
go
teams.
back and
But
look at the
fortunately, he's
stats.
going against a terrible team again. But
Yep. So
at
this
the
is the
same
perfect
time,
place
you know.
to put up stats again. So
Well,
over
all right. Well, that's what we're
47.5
looking for here.
receiving yards.
What is
I
it
love
at,
that.
Pitts?
47.5. I think he goes up over that. I think Ridley draws a lot of attention here.
I mean, is he even drawing attention? Is he? Does
I
Houston
think
send Julio some of that signing bonus?
He better.
Right, he hasn't looked that good this year. But to be fair, the line hasn't been looked that good, and Ryan can't really make plays on the move. So
Yep.
let's see if we get there. But I'll tell you what, that Miami pass rush is nothing like what it used to be, and if Jones or Howard sit, even one or both, there's gonna be a lot
They
of
couldn't
points
get
on the
pressure
Atlanta side.
on Trevor Lawrence much last week.
I'll tell you what, though, Lawrence is doing really good at like the little things.
Yeah,
There's
but
a small movement.
his offensive line is a bit worse than this Atlanta one.
I think they're.
I
I
think
they're about the same. They're pretty bad. They're both pretty bad.
I think they're worse. I think they'll be able to hold up against this Miami front unless something switches from the last couple of weeks where Miami couldn't get any pressure, and now all of a sudden they look like last year's defense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could. This is an offensive line to try and get right against. But I don't know. Let's just keep it at that. I'm fine, like having very, very little exposure to this game, right?
There's one other prop I wanted to look at in this game. Give me
okay. Well, let's do it then. Tyler's finding the edges here. I'm scared, but Tyler said scared money don't make none. What else do you got?
They don't have it listed yet. No, I was looking for a receptions prop on Jalen Waddle. DraftKings doesn't have one yet.
Oh, okay.
If
I like. What do you think if Gesicki's in there? He seemed like he'd be a nice way to run it back against Pitts there, right? He's been by far their best. I mean, Waddle's awesome, but he's by far their highest targeted receiver.
Actually, I think it's Waddle that's the most targeted. I know he got 13 targets last week, 10 catches.
That's with Tua back though. I'm thinking of the full season, but you're right because it was Brissett that was just pelting Gesicki left and right.
That's the other reason
why. Maybe stay away from that then. Let me retract that statement on Gesicki. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he got there, but you are right with Waddle being back. That's Tua's buddy, right? I mean, they've been playing together for a while, right?
Since college. So if that number's 4.5 on his receptions, I think he's good for 5 catches in that game.
All right, and that'll be a hidden tidbit you got to watch. You can't just read the chat to find that one. Here's a game that I teased. So I think the Patriots are going to win. I don't know if they'll cover though. I don't know how high scoring their offense is, and I don't think the Jets' offense is that bad. I mean, defense is that bad. I do think their offense is that bad. I also like a team total under 17. Maybe you can find some props that correlate for us. But Tyler, what do you think about the New York Jets visiting the New England Patriots?
I think this will be pretty much how they played the first time. Where the Jets are just in shambles. Belichick puts Wilson through a blender. And there's just nothing they could really do. I see Wilson's interceptions prop is set at 1.5 already. So they're already predicting he's throwing 1.
Wow. That's pretty rare, right? They're usually always 0.5, right? I mean, that's almost standard for 20 quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Like, that's Jameis Winston numbers there.
I mean,
Winston's a guy that had a 1.5.
Looking at this, though, I mean, Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson should be able to dominate this game on the ground. Stevenson's rush yards are 25.5. I don't hate that, but I'd much rather just take his anytime touchdown at plus 200. I think he gets a lot of the goal line work here. And I think either running back gets in. I mean, outside of that in this game, there ain't much I really want.
Jets unders? Is there any Jets unders, or are they all so low it doesn't matter?
They're the receivers.
Like what's Wilson's throwing yards at?
Like 220. If they start to get blown out, you got to think like he could get there. Yeah, that's my only worry.
All right.
All the receivers are like in the
what are the running backs at? Maybe if we think the Patriots are dominating the run game gets looked past. What did you see any good rushing unders there we could attack?
Carter's at 44.5 and Ty Johnson's at 15.5.
Yeah, never mind. Okay, well, it's worth a shot. Like I said, I'm on the Jets. I'm on the under in that game. I'm on the Patriots in the teaser, and I'm on the Jets team total under. So if they come out and put up 38 points, I won't be so happy when we're doing the show on Monday morning. The Philadelphia Eagles play my Las Vegas Raiders. Did this line move to 3.5? Are the Raiders finally getting a little respect? No, still -3 at Bookmaker right now. Will the new coach matter? Did they really hate John Gruden? Was it a 1 week bump, or are these Raiders teams for real? What do you think, Tyler?
I think they're for real. And I think, just like you said last week, they're going to play when they have the lead. They were still playing to try and score more points. They
So
weren't just
nice.
in
I loved it.
prevent mode.
Mm-hmm.
This Eagles defense, their linebackers are slow. They're old. They can't cover. What's that spell spread?
Waller.
Yep.
Wanna be a.
I mean, he's over 62.5. I think he blows that number out of the water. I think he's good for 100 today or Sunday, and his receptions are 5.5. I think he goes over that.
All right, so Waller's 62.5 receiving yards.
Yep.
And then over how many receptions?
5.5.
Dude, isn't it? Can you bet targets?
I wish.
I'll bet you'll be able to in a couple of years.
We just parlayed Devontae Adams,
Darren Waller,
and Jalen Waddle every week.
Yeah, and maybe a little Devontae Smith on the Eagles side. What do you think of Twatty and I were talking about him last night. Devontae Smith, he said he's not doing a lot, and I said, well, he's getting open. Jalen Hurts just isn't getting him the ball. I think he's doing great running routes, and a lot of times when I'm watching the game, I see him beating his man. Is there anyone on the Eagles side that you like, or do you think the Raiders defense actually shows up this week?
I think the Raiders defense shows up, and I also, just like you said, I don't trust Hurts to get the ball to these receivers. So I don't want to bet on the receivers. I don't want to bet on Hurts because he's burned me a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a live prop on his rushing yards during the game. If you can get it down into the 30s, I don't hate that.
Yeah, it's like too high. It's like one of those things. Like everybody knows the secret's out. There's no more value there on the Hurts rushing, right? I mean, they put it where it should be.
At that number where it usually gets like 45.
If you think about it, he's 15 yards less than Lamar. Like, they're giving him his respect, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather take Lamar at 60 than Hurts at 45, right? So
yeah, I agree.
Let's stay away from that Philadelphia side. Darren Waller, I love that look there. I think we'll be happy, keeping the buffet plate light in this game. It'd be interesting to see if the Raiders definitely can go ahead and continue that momentum, and maybe Gruden was part of the problem. The Detroit Lions play the Los Angeles Rams. Travis Mangone texted me and said, revenge game. What do you think, Tyler?
Revenge game for who is the
Jared
question.
Goff.
Yeah, I think.
Or is McVay going to get revenge for not listening to anything he said? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's Stafford showing Detroit that this is what I can do with weapons, and you guys wasted, 13 years of my career?
And everyone in Detroit would be like, we know.
Yeah.
We wasted Calvin Johnson and Barry. Like, we wasted better players than you, Matt.
It's like, I think he throws 3 touchdowns. Over 2.5 is even money. I'll take that all day on Stafford.
So over 2.5 touchdowns?
Yep. And I wanted to get some Cooper Kupp props in, but I mean, they set that number at 95.5. That's just way too. That's just.
I think that's good bookmaking because they could still go over, but it's not. I don't want to smash it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. Especially, let's say Stafford hits a couple of the other guys early, right? We get a Van Jefferson big play. We get a Robert Woods big play. Now we're up 17-0, and it's the Darrell Henderson show, right?
Yep.
So, with that being said, since we do expect a blowout, right? You expect a blowout too. Do we look at these running backs, Henderson, Michelle? Is there something there, or is that just too speculative?
I mean, I don't hate taking the Henderson rush prop. I think it was right around 81.5.
Oh, that's too high.
If they do blow Detroit out, Detroit tends to just dump the ball off to DeAndre Swift in garbage time.
That's true.
His receptions props 5.5 plus 115. I don't hate that.
All right, I like that one better than any of the Rams. So, good look on that one. Just threw the Swift in the chat, and we'll move on to the next game. Because I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to, unless Detroit is fighting, right? Probably won't have a lot of eyes on that game, right?
Yeah, because
I don't see any way that I'm getting involved.
It should just be Rams roll in, do their job, and go home.
Yeah. Well, it's in LA too.
Oh yeah, that's definitely smash spot for LA then.
Yeah.
And they don't have a game to look ahead to. I think next week they have a shitty team too.
Yeah. Chicago Bears against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was saying last night on the live show, of all the double-digit dogs I like, are of all the double-digit favorites I like. I would lay it the most with Tampa.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
I think their defense is going to give Justin Fields a lot of problems, and I think they're going to put up points with ease. How do you beat the? Both teams you don't want to run against them, right?
Remember, this is one
So,
of the few teams that beat Brady last year too. Spread.
yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing for Brady though. I don't think he can get more up than he is.
Yeah, I don't think he takes
That's just like when
losses
they were
very
saying he was
lightly,
getting
bro.
up for New England Patriots. I'm like, the guy gets up for 7-on-7 OTAs in April, right? I mean, like, I don't think that there's much you can do to get him more competitive or to prepare any harder. Um, but regardless, I think that Tampa's got a great chance to cover here. And if you agree, let's find some props to correlate.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, Brady over 2.5 passing touchdowns plus 125.
So
I
we're
like
going
that.
there with Stafford and Brady. Hey,
Yep.
those are two of my favorite quarterbacks, and in fact, I have them in two different. Those are my quarterbacks in the different fantasy leagues I'm in. So I love this. Let's hope that these hit.
I see no Antonio Brown this Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Mike Evans, the receiving yards are set at 67.5. I don't hate that. And
What
then this,
about Godwin, who will just eat up targets?
he went up to 71.5. I think
But what
Evans
about
is
his actual? Let's just go receptions because I think he's going to get over 10 targets.
5.5 minus 155.
Oh, they juiced us out. I'd rather at 6.5, 110. You play that though, right? I do.
I think Evans is more the guy for Brady. I think Godwin's like the third man out. Like, yeah, he's
Okay.
going to be the number 2 here with no AB.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I could see him using Giovanni Bernard some more, running the ball here.
Okay. And there, it's not Scotty Miller season, right? He's still out.
Yeah. They'll
And
get
what about
Tyler
that one
Johnson
guy that's on
involved.
all those really great commercials, Gronkowski? Do you expect him to play?
He played last week, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he was very effective. So
Yeah, I'm looking right now. He's still questionable. He's on the thing. Um, Never mind. He's out. Gronkowski will not play.
okay, so he's out.
Yeah.
I don't mind Giovanni Bernard's overs then. Over
Okay.
2.5 receptions plus 140, and his yards are sitting right around 13.5. I mean, if they can't run the ball against the Chicago team, they're going to have to sub out running backs. He
Yeah.
is the guy that catches the passes out of the backfield.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So let me just throw that one in the chat, and we'll go to the next one. You said Bernard over 2.5 receptions, right?
Yep.
I like that a lot. So we'll see. I mean, maybe Chicago surprises us, but hey, I'm fine. I'm
I don't
fine.
see it.
I will sleep great on Saturday night knowing that my money it's the Chicago Bears that could potentially take my money because I'm not impressed with that team all year, and we've talked about it, in our Monday review show. I think almost every week how mismanaged that team is. This is a good question here from James. Do you guys ever look at the defensive props? I know that you were doing really well on a couple of those linebackers in the tackle props, right? Did you take a look at those? And maybe, James, we'll have to work that in next week because I know Tyler didn't prep that. We did only the offensive side. But you want we'll put that in the agenda and we'll hit a couple next week?
Yeah, I mean, I usually stick to the offensive side earlier in the year when it's still, like, the weather's still pretty good. And then once it starts to cool off and, like, some of these games just get
Who did we
frigid.
kept hitting last year? The guy on the Tampa Bay?
Devin White.
Devin White. We kept hitting him,
Those
right?
are the guys you want, like Devin White, Tremaine Edmonds from Buffalo, Devin Bush from Pittsburgh, Roquan Smith from Chicago.
Oh yeah,
he's
by far the best player on the defense now.
Guys that are just all over the field and that play like close to 100% of the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys you want. You don't want the guys that are on and off the field in different defensive packages. So that's the way to look at those. But we'll have more of those as the year goes on.
All right, James. Yeah, we'll get you some more of those because I remember that was some of the most fun to have caching because the stats don't always come up. You're constantly like refreshing your CBS scoreboard or whatever you use there. So that's it. We're all in on the Bucks.
I got one for him. I think could be a good look in the Giants Panthers game. If Blake Martinez is under 8.5 tackles, his set number, I think he goes over that.
Okay,
he's going to play all through the middle. Anything Chubb or Hubbard comes up through the middle with, he'll be right there for. I think he gets 10 tackles in that game.
All right, well, there you go, James. Looks like there's one for you, but we'll definitely do the proper research for it next week. I don't even have the numbers pulled up, but in our prep, we'll make sure to start getting those for you, James, because I do think you're right. That is kind of like a fun market, and it might not have the same juice and the same numbers, right? Like a lot of these that we give out, Tyler, like on Sunday morning, they're gone, right?
Yep.
Like this Evans 67, right? On Sunday morning, it's either going to be minus 180 or it's going to be like 73, 74, right?
Yep.
But I think these, not that they'll be evergreen, but they'll at least be, viable up until kickoff, which should be a lot more fun on the defensive side of the ball. So, James, we will be working on that for you coming up this season. Houston Texans head to Arizona to take on the Cardinals in the biggest spread of the week, minus 17.5. 47.5. That means I think it's going to be like what 30-17 there for the Texans. Do we know who the quarterback is in this game?
Davis Mills.
So Tyrod is out for sure.
Yep.
Okay.
I think they're just done. I think they're just going to let the rookie ride it out. See how far he could drop him down into the draft standings.
Yeah. That's too bad what's going on there in Houston. What they had won like 4 of the last 5 division titles.
Yeah.
And then now they're in the dregs of the league. I mean, the quickest turnaround. But that's what happened when you lose the quarterback that was essentially carrying a poorly managed franchise. So 17.5. It's in Arizona. Weather should be pretty good, right? So we don't have to worry about any of that slowing down this offense yet. Are you jumping in on this high-powered offense, or because they're so popular, are these numbers just too high?
I mean, I'm going to have one guy on that side. I think it's more of like a game script thing because I think the Cardinals win it, but I think they go into like almost like a conservative mode. They have Green Bay in 4 days after Sunday on Thursday night. You got to think they're more worried about a team they could see in the playoff picture than a Houston team who's not going to be anywhere near the playoffs. If I had to pick a side in this game, though, spread, I'm sticking with what I said on Tuesday. Give me all the points in this one. I think Houston just fights. They keep it not close, but they keep it in striking distance of 21, and you're getting 18 points. So, but with the Cardinals playing with the lead, James Conner is going to get all the rushing attempts here. Okay. That's the running back that runs the ball when they're up. Over 53.5 rushing yards, I like. I think he could blow that number out of the water.
All right. I like it too. It fits the game script, and unfortunately, Tyler, I will not be joining you. I wrote an article about the Texans last week. I took the 10 points. I bet the 10 points. I wanted to rip up the article by 2 minutes into the second quarter. This team looked absolutely terrible. Of course, they're due for a bounce back at some point.
They were playing a Colts team off a tough loss, too. You got to think the Colts won. Like, afterwards, like, Colts, of course, wanted that game back after dropping the Baltimore one.
Yeah, that's true. That was a bad loss. They should not have lost that game.
Towards Green Bay.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that happens. And hey, I'm rooting for the Texans. I don't like even trying to cap a 17.5 point spread. Like my ideal NFL, and that's why they put the salary cap in there. Is hey, Tyler, before the salary cap, almost every game looked like this. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So hey, as bad as it sucks, losing these players in free agency sometimes, I do like handicapping games with the smaller spreads, and I like the way that you're attacking it with the game script, not looking at the receivers. Just grab the running back, assume they have the lead, and that they're going to sit on it. Speaking of the Colts, right? So now they're coming off a big win, right? Feeling good about themselves. They travel to San Francisco. I like the Niners in this game, but I've heard some pushback from very sharp sources, so I'm a little worried about being on the San Francisco side. I'm not going to tout it as the play of the year or anything like that. But what do you think of this game, Tyler?
I mean, I think San Francisco wins it also. They've been just killing teams off of buys over the past 4 years.
That was one of my big caps.
Jimmy G's back under center, so that cap's probably 100%, so they should be fine there. Mm-hmm. Deebo Samuel's yards are set at 57.5. I think he's going to fly over that. Like, there's no Kittle. Ayuk's pretty much useless in the offense. Maybe they get Sanu involved a bit. Mitchell's there. But outside of Deebo, there's really no one to throw the ball to. So.
What'd you say that was, 57.5?
Yep. I think he'll have another big game like he's had this year. So I think that's going to be my only look in that game, too, spread.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you. So, of course, if I lose, right, and I'm upset again on Sunday night, which has happened half the Sundays this year, it'll be because of that secondary. So, but there's no Colts receivers that attract your eye?
I mean, maybe you touch one on an anytime touchdown. Like, let's see what we can get like a guy like T.
Even that one's tough, though, right? Because that Taylor's going to get a bunch of red zone looks, right? So you're most likely not going to get a reception if they get it within the 5. So, even those pass interferences to get you on the 1, you don't get it there. So we got Pittman, T.Y. Hilton's back in the lineup, but I'm not sure if he's going to play. Do you know for sure?
I know he played last week. He was pretty effective, but
Yeah, I know. And then I'm seeing that he was questionable again, which was surprising to me. Maybe he got an injury
hasn't
towards
he
the end of
always
that
just
game.
held the questionable tag like his whole career though? Didn't he come into the league questionable?
Yeah, he's wearing a Joel Embiid jersey.
Yeah, but I
All
mean,
right,
if I had to target a guy for an anytime touchdown, if he's in the game, give me him.
Hilton.
Plus 275. Yeah, I think he
Uh-huh.
gets in the end zone.
And you can place that now, right? And if he scratched it, it gets
Yeah, it just
refunded,
gets
right?
voided.
Yeah. I hate when they do that. Some of the tennis tournaments, it's so dirty. If you even if you withdraw, the girl withdraws before the tournament, they still count it. I hate when they do that. But they
Yeah,
tell you beforehand. They say action regardless, right? And it was really rough during the pandemic when people were pulling out because you're like, how is she getting such a good number? And it's like they probably talked to their agent. They knew that she wasn't going to play. That's why they threw a plus 200 up just so we'd all, whatever. But enough of my griping about that. That is all the games there, Tyler. So let's just say, we don't usually do this, but if you can only choose one of these props, you have one unit left out of everything we've given out today. What do you think the best bet would be?
Probably Lamar Jackson over his rushing yards. I think it's time for him to have a big game on the ground.
All right, and I didn't originate these, but everyone that Tyler gave out, my best bet of Tyler's, right? These aren't mine. Best bet of Tyler's. Give me that Sam Darnold interception, buddy.
I knew you were going to pick out one.
I think the Panthers can cover that game and win that game handily, and he still throws a pick, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Right? I think that you can play that and still play a Panthers bet, right? I don't think that would shock them. And that's so wild that Zach Wilson's over 1.5 interceptions. The poor kid. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I even like the coaching staff there. I just don't think that the rest of that offense has a lot of talent, and he's got some good coaches in that division. So too bad for Zach Wilson. Hopefully he gets better. But Tyler, someone who's been doing great and someone that we don't have to feel bad for is you and these NFL props. So we appreciate you giving out all these winners again. Hopefully everyone managed their bankroll so they have enough to be able to get a piece of all these props that you've given out because they've been so good. Do you have anything else for the people before we get out of here?
Nope, just sign up over on the website so you can get all the plays we put on the spreadsheet for this weekend. We got UFC, we got NFL, college football, NBA now. So, I mean, we're all going to be on the sheet. Still at MLB going for Joey, so got to sign up.
Yeah, I was telling Tyler. I even had to lower my unit size to take advantage of all these plays. Because usually I'm only hitting three or four units in play at a time. All these plays, and they're all quality plays. Different looks from different handicappers who specialize in the sport. Like for example, I host this NFL rundown show, but it's NBA picks for me on that sheet because that's my focus. That's my specialty. That's what Tyler's focus and his specialty right now is the NFL props, right? Then you've got the Sports Keg he specializes in the NFL, specializes in NASCAR, specializes in the UFC. You might say, how can you do 3 sports? Well, they're not daily. That's how he can knock out 3, do them all efficiently with the proper research that you need. Joy Work is fantastic in baseball, great in UFC as well. And then JJ does the college football, college basketball, NFL, and then he helps me out with some tennis. So what a great team that we have assembled there. Score with these, hitting up the soccer. Head on over to runpurebets.com. Join with the promo code BETS25 off. You'll get 25% off your first month. You'll get advantage of the picks, get in the Discord, talk with the other handicappers that we are already members. They're bouncing ideas. Even when me and Tyler aren't around, right? I could be driving. That Discord's still popping. The NBA Discord's still popping, even though I'm not in there as much as I should be, and it's still a popping fun Discord. You got to get involved with it. Head on over to runpurebets.com. And also, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. When will we be back, Tyler? You and I will be back Monday.
Reaction show and then the Monday night preview
we'll do a reaction show. We'll do an NBA rundown, and there's a live show that night. So make sure you're subscribed because it's almost like going to work for WFAN, right? It's almost to be 24-hour content on this channel. There's going to be. Make sure you're subscribed. Jay's going live tomorrow. Members only on Sunday to hang out with Tyler, get those official plays, and then of course there's a live show. So you guys go subscribers only in the morning, right?
Yeah,
And
subscribers
then in the
from the
afternoon,
one.
it's the free for all party, right?
Yep.
Oh, and I got to point this out, Tyler. Did you want to promo what's going on the Sunday afternoon show, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you could plug it.
All right. Make sure if I get it wrong though, they'll let me know. It's Cheese versus Joey Work in a Buffalo Wild Wings eating contest, right?
Yep.
But there's a spread, right? It's not just who can eat more, right? Cheese
I
has to
think
cover
Joey's
the
like
spread.
plus what, 8.5?
Plus 8.5 nuggets. So while we're sweating some football, giving out the winners, we're gonna have a lot of fun on that show too. I don't know if I'll be on the camera, but I'll be in the chat and watching that one, depending on where I am that day. I'm not sure what time all the stuff is going on with the Little League, and then my training, of course, too. So, anyways, it's so much fun. To sum it up, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys soon. Run Pure.